So I'm gonna do a playthrough on normal to test out some of the things I learned from some reverse engineering. Not quite finished with that yet. Um, but some stuff about item spawning, and I also just want to get a recording on normal so I can compare it to the hard playthrough that I did last week or over the weekend, whenever it was. So I'll play as Clint since I played as Andy last time. It's no difference gameplay wise, but big difference appearance wise. I'm gonna go with red Clint, because I like the poncho. I feel like the other ponchos are a bit dreary. And I'm playing on gamepad tonight. As a matter of fact, I'm even using wireless gamepad because I just don't feel like plugging in the stick. So, what I learned about the item drops is that they're on a cycle. So you get gold, gold, weapon, gold, gold, weapon. I'd already picked up one gold. I'm not sure yet whether the diamonds count. Gold, gold, gold. Yeah, so I also don't think that the cycle is the same every time. So that's 4 golds. And 5 is a diamond. 6. We'll say it was 5. We'll ignore the diamonds for now. Gold, gold. Alright, there's the bomb, which I think comes about 15th in the order. So already I was able to take advantage of what we learned because I knew that the bomb was coming up, but that it was pretty deep in the order. And so what I did there was try to focus on killing those bearded enemies as much as possible because I know that those drop items and it progresses the item cycle. So the bartenders are going to be the enemies to focus on this time on this screen, since they're the item carriers. It's not necessary to pick up the item drops. Oh, whoops. I think that this restarts the cycle, so let's see. If we get 2 golds, and we should get a weapon. Nope, 3rd gold. 4th. And there's a weapon. So yeah, the death did not reset the cycle, because the question mark is all the way at the end of the cycle. I think that's when it resets. Alright, so we already are 1 bomb over what we can carry. I think? Or, no, I guess I didn't get to the second one in the cycle because the one that I got from the bearded guy on the first screen is what I would normally get from one of the bartenders on the second screen. So there's also, we also found the RNG table for the weapon drop itself. So far, we don't think that applies to the question mark items. But the main items, there seems to be a weighted table. So you don't have the same chance of getting every item. I'm not sure which is which at this point. I'm trying to remember what order I played the stages in my hard playthrough. I think I might have done Canyon, Train, Depot, Mine, but I'm gonna just quickly check because for difficulty comparison purposes, I would like for the stage order to be the same. Go to my own Twitch channel. Alright, so actually I did train first. I did train, canyon, depot, mine. Alright. So train is the only one that's out of place in terms of the scoring order. I had got kind of bored after doing a few runs in the session and switched up the order from what I would normally do, which is always from the top counterclockwise to get the most points. So here, the buggies are the item carriers. I don't know if the cycle resets when starting a new stage, if it carries over. I'm going to guess it carries over. Oh yeah, so the pushcart guys are also item carriers. I'm not sure if the red diamond is part of the cycle or not. I think there are some enemies that might override the cycle and give you a specific item, or it might be that they have a different value for their point item. As far as I can tell, none of it is random except what really should be, which is, or like what you would really assume was, which is the value of the power-up itself. Okay, also on the hard versus normal subject, these mid-bosses all have less HP, no question. And also fire less bullets. Yeah, so the question mark... I'm actually not sure if that's at the end of the cycle or in the middle. And I'm also not sure if enemies will drop bombs if you don't need bombs. That's one of the other things that would be good to know about this subject. Oh my god, it dies so fast. Okay, I had said that hard was not really any... or wasn't substantially harder. I'm gonna have to take that back. It had just been, when I cleared on hard, it had just been a long time since I played on normal. Like, years probably. And when I wasn't playing on hard, I was probably playing Reloaded, which has a lot of different details. I somehow fell behind on killing the artillery, though. Shouldn't have taken that. Boss was polite and decided not to attack. Alright, he's not doing the bullet follow-up that time. It's kind of silly that he doesn't always do it. When the mortars are still alive, it's more reasonable in terms of difficulty, but once the mortars are dead, I feel like you should get more aggressive. The fight gets kind of easy at that point. Shotgun is a great weapon for this guy. He can be interrupted. Easy fight. Alright, bonus stage time. I'm actually going to drop a save state here on the bonus stage. Something to come back to later and see if there is a perfect bonus for it. Obviously, I'm just doing a normal run right now. I'm not going to be loading from anything. Hey, Ray, how's it going? I'm doing pretty good. Did some reverse engineering and learned a bunch about wild guns tonight, so I'm excited to play the game some more. Not doing this bonus stage right. It's good to see you playing Silhouette Mirage, because that's a game that I'm always been curious about, and I've been digging into Treasure more lately, and I've been feeling like, you know, after the Sin and Punishment games and Gunstar Heroes, it's always a question of what to go to next, because I don't really want to play Silvergun. Like Stretch Panic, I think might be the next one I play, but Silhouette Mirage and Mischief Makers are in there as well. And when I say play, you know, I've played all these games at some point in the past, so I mean actually like put the time in and learn to play them properly in 1cc where appropriate. Alright, so we go to the canyon next. Yeah, so I was checking out some of your VOD when you were playing the Saturn version of it. It's an interesting game. I still don't think it looks terribly fun to me, but that's without having played it myself. That actually is one that I really haven't ever played. Okay, so they can drop a bomb even if you're at max bombs. That answers that question. I'm still skeptical, though, that deaths don't matter. Or it could be a difficulty mode thing. Man, these lasso robots die a lot faster in this, on normal mode. So Mirage is pretty easy for most of the game, gets really hard at the end. Yeah. I feel like Treasure's longer games aren't always... I don't know, there's just something about that era of them that are just kind of weird and unbalanced. Whoa, that was close. Which version of it... I've probably asked you this before and don't remember, but which version do you prefer? Like, I know that the... Or would you recommend, that is to say, not prefer, because I know that, you know, the Saturn version is, or the PlayStation Working Designs version is pretty messed up in terms of gameplay mechanics, but the thing is that, like, I want to read it, I want to play the game in English when I get to playing it. Like, I'm not going to be able to get through it in Japanese. Oh yeah, we did talk about this, because there's been a fan translation, hasn't there? Ooh, double lasso. Oh man, these are easy. Playing in English first. Okay, so it's not going to destroy the experience of it. Good to know. Appreciate it. Yeah, it'll be a tough call between that and Mischief Makers, because the thing about Mischief Makers is that I didn't count to 6. Oh, he could do the fake out on normal. I didn't know that. I guess he just doesn't do it as often, or I haven't seen it as much for whatever reason. But yeah, the thing about Mischief Makers is that it comes down to emulating N64, and there was a really neat solution to that with Sin and Punishment, which was just to use Dolphin, because it was on Virtual Console, and that provided a really smooth experience, since Dolphin's a great emulator, and it was easy to configure the game to run well and look right. But for Mischief Makers and, most of the N64 library, that's not really a viable solution. And the problem is that Mischief Makers has a lot of 2D art, and I just have struggled getting 2D games to look even remotely right on N64 emulators. Like, there's always texture mismatches and, like, artifacting, and it's just a pain in the neck. Alright, so we go to the depot next. And I should just bomb right away on this first screen. I bet it will kill this gun before it even gets a chance to attack. Not quite. Yeah, so it's best. This is another screen where you can sort of make a educated choice about. Now that I know how the item spawning works, I can make a more educated choice about who to attack. Focus on the bearded guys because there's one that drop items. Should be more score in that, barring the difficulty of chaining, and should end up in more weapon power-ups as well, and more bombs in the long term. Got him. Oh, that missed. Give me a stick. Ooh, that was a bad jump. I should have dodged. Oh, what a waste of a Vulcan. I didn't even get to fire one round. Interested in getting the true ending of Mischief Makers. Oh yeah, no. Like, with Mischief Makers, part of the reason I want to revisit it, not having played it much since I was a kid, is to actually get a sense of why it felt so annoying to try to, like, actually play that game, what it considers, well, to score the game, so to speak. Because the thing is, it never felt good to play just like scraping by. But then there was a huge gap between that and actually ranking it, or getting good ranks. I really like the music, though. That's one thing it has going for it. Uh-oh. Okay, that was good enough. So there wasn't anything special to do on that screen. I already focused on the artillery. Can I lasso him again? Nope, missed. Greedy. Let's just bomb to be safe. Bombs won't kill the bosses so quickly on hard. Does this guy move slower? Nah, probably not. I think I'm just getting lucky with my lassos. I'm usually not so good at chain lassoing him. Oh, and now it comes to an end. Getting a lot of shotguns and another Vulcan, the second one in this stage. Nice. This is always the stage where you end up getting a lot of Vulcan, or at least one Vulcan. Easy. And we'll get another extend for the stage bonus. And bonus stage 2. again, drop a save state so I can come back later. And I mean, this one seems like it'd be a real pain in the ass to try to perfect this. The other one I've come pretty close before, only missing 1 or 2 targets, but this one, a lot harder. That's probably the best run of it I've ever done. You can see how many rocks I missed. Back to still at Mirage, if you use the secret shops, the whole game is just your toy, aside from Cypher's and Zohar. Without using the secret shops, there's a bit more to the game. Yeah, I wouldn't have any problem resisting the temptation to use secret shops. I may have mentioned when I was watching you play the other day that generally I avoid that kind of stuff. Especially, you know, it's the kind of stuff that's fun to play with, like, after I know that I like the game and, like, have invested time in it and just want to mess around or whatever, but, I'm just, in a larger context than these particular games are discussing, I just am not a big fan of secrets in games. I don't really think it's a good element, and I generally just, I don't know. It doesn't ruin games for me, but like Doom is a great example where like secret hunting in Doom is a big part of map making. It's a big part of the original maps. It's something that people are really into. I have no interest in it, and it adds nothing to Doom for me. Like sometimes I'll look for a secret if I desperately need ammo, but it just adds too much variability into the game for elements that are opaque. I generally just don't like opaque elements in a game, which is why I've been reverse engineering wild guns to learn about how the item drops work. Tying things back into the actual game at hand. And like, I remember the 90s, you know, and being a kid and, you know, everyone sharing secrets and stuff, and that was kind of fun, but, you know, as an adult, especially in the internet age, there's nothing too exciting to me about finding a secret. But I'm also a pretty anti-puzzle game kind of guy. I like games that are more about tactics and technique rather than obscure knowledge or trial and error. Whoa. Whoa. I don't know, that guy felt like he had just as much HP as he does on hard. Could be different, but it was still felt like a longish fight, I guess. So here, one of the open questions about the item cycle is whether enemies like this count towards it, the ones that drop the red diamonds every time. And I think they probably do, because you just saw one of them gave me a weapon power-up, but I'm gonna guess that there's a defined point item value for different enemies. So like the beard guys will give you bags of gold on the same place in the cycle where these guys will give you a red diamond. And like the blue diamonds dropped by those red robots, I know they can drop weapons as well. Whoa, whoa, whoa. One of my least favorite mid-boss fights. Resisting the temptation to bomb it, though. Alright, you're off screen. See ya. So the one near you shoots three-way, and the one far away shoots a targeted bullet, or multiple targeted bullets. Ah, shit. I didn't mean to do that. Roll. Alright, machine gun. This will end it quickly. Like how it rewards you for shooting enemy bullets out of the air. Yeah, it's really cool. The way it builds meter. This game just... I've been playing it a bit in the past week, but this is just one of my favorite games of all time. Like, not even limiting to shoot 'em ups. Like, this is a game that I've come back to again and again over the years. And, like, it never stops being fun. It never stops having depth and dynamism to it. Like, the controls feel great. It's technical with the, like, dodging, the way that you can manipulate double jumps to get extra airtime, multiple attack options, the randomization of the weapons keep things fresh every time. I think the scoring system is a little screwed because of the chaining, but other than that, and, you know, even the chaining itself is kind of fun to play with, even though I think it kind of makes it extremely difficult to figure out what an optimal score would look like, since you need to worry about items and chaining. And I think there are also some screens that you can infinitely milk. But yeah, it's got a great amount of layers to it, and the sort of way that it sticks to a 3-button control scheme, like an arcade game would, makes a lot of people mistake it for something that is a port of an arcade game, but I think works in its favor. It's sort of like Gunstar Heroes, where, you know, in the case of Gunstar, it works with 3 buttons because that's what it had on the Genesis, but it still feels really good to pull out those melee moves and everything. Something you don't get in your average run-and-gun. That's what the dodge maneuvers and the lasso feel like here. And the way that you use the different special weapons, the grenade launcher, the machine, the shotgun, are all different. Shotgun's more defensive, good for stunning enemies and knocking bullets out of the air. Lets you turtle up a little bit more. The grenade launcher, you have to aim more precisely because it has a slow rate of fire, but pays off because of the crazy damage that it does. And the machine gun is just straight up deletes enemies. And then it's even got the P-gun, which mixes things up in a pretty funny way. I like a very clear risk-reward mechanic like that, where, like, if you take a question mark, you're aware that there's a good chance you're going to get a P shooter from that. But if you want to chance it, go for it. It's not like it instantly kills you or does anything stupid like that. Like, the punishment is just, well, now you have to shoot away all this ammo. Kind of like the opposite of what you normally want to do. Instead of trying to conserve your special weapon ammo, you want to get rid of it as quickly as possible. It's like an interesting little bonus game in there, where the rules change a little bit. Alright, it would be really nice if this Vulcan doesn't trigger until the next screen, but I don't think that that's going to happen. And if it does, I think it's going to be too early in the next screen to actually be useful. Because the next mid-boss is a pain. That was really unlucky timing. Usually I'd get enough invulnerability from throwing the dynamite that his shot wouldn't hit me. Alright, grenade, nice. Oh. Tried to melee him because my brain turned off for a second. Alright, well, we'll get Vulcan on this screen, but again, I think it's going to be too early. Won't last to the boss fight. You have 4 different palettes for each character. It's another strength of the game. Love that. Yeah, there goes the Vulcan. And I did pick up some kind of special weapon. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a P-gun right before I got the Vulcan. And luckily the game saves your ammo. So when the Vulcan runs out, at least I'll come into the mid-boss with full ammo of whatever special weapon I have, which is grenade, which is great. And you'll see how fast. Just watch my meter when the boss shoots. Yeah, I was still able to fill up Vulcan. But that's because I had the grenade. The grenade or the shotgun will do that for you there. The other guns, it'll charge pretty fast, but won't be as free as that. You don't get any extra points for having bombs left over at the end of the game, so you want to use them all in this fight, whereas you do get extra points for having lives left over. I feel like he uses the mortars way less here on normal than he did on hard. Alright, final bomb. Finish him off. Well, hard mode was pretty good training for beating the game in normal. Been a while since I played it on this difficulty, but I think if anything, that's the definitive proof that hard is meaningfully harder. That when I then come back to normal, it's like super free. Hard is a good challenge, but it's not crazy. Darn it. And so the rank bonus is 700,000 on normal. It's 1,000,000 on hard. Not that big a difference. So my score there was almost as good as my hard clear score was, which was like 2.8. And I didn't make any effort to chain in either of those runs. By the way, it's hard to make out, but you can still see the enemy, his body that flew off into the air. It's right over the spaceship. And it's just a game with a ton of style on top of all the good stuff about the mechanics that I mentioned. The music is great. It's going for that spaghetti western aesthetic and executes it perfectly using the Super Nintendo sound chip. So I think I'm going to play a little bit of Reloaded now. I'm trying to think if I should do another run here or if I should play some Reloaded. I think I'll play Reloaded. But now I've got the normal and hard mode runs on video, because this is a game I'd cleared long ago, but it was before I started streaming or recording my replays or anything like that. So it's one that just wanted to get a record of. And that'll be good because now I can compare them side by side.